Thanks to Callum for your support as a channel member. There's just 29 points between us at Haas and Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship now, and we need another big result in Singapore to keep the pressure very much on F1's falling giant. Hello folks, and welcome back to AHGP, where we are managing Haas using only F2 champions. We've got Nico Hülkenberg and Felipe Drugovich, although I've been having some thoughts about Felipe's future with the team. Some of you will say it's much too early to get rid of Felipe, but we did only give him a one-year deal. He hasn't scored any points since the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, all the way back in May. We are now in September, and it's Hülkenberg who's doing all of the heavy lifting in terms of scoring points, which isn't unexpected, but considering how well he's performed, Drugovich should really have been getting some more points. So I'm not scouting any drivers yet, but I have made a bit of a short list of drivers here. We've got Théo Pourchaire on our short list, George Russell, Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. I'm kind of thinking we go for Gasly because 87 rated, he'd be an upgrade on both Felipe and on Hülkenberg, and with the car that we've got, he would probably score podiums in most races when we're able to. We've been challenging for it in the past few rounds. So my question to you in the comments, should we sign Pierre Gasly for Season 2? Or maybe do we sign Théo Pourchaire? Or do we keep Felipe Drugovich? So there's your three options. Pierre, Théo or Felipe. Let me know in the comments. We're gearing up for the Singapore Grand Prix, as I said. And here's how things look in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari are on top. We are chasing Mercedes. We took 10 points out of them last time out in Monza as the Silver Arrows went pointless. And I did forget to keep this, or show this in the end of the last episode. But Nico Hülkenberg has now overtaken Lance Stroll in the Drivers' Championship. So their little head-to-head is now very much on. And we are aiming to get the better of the Canadian. We are ready to go. We're not upgrading anything for this race. We're just researching now for Season 2 to make sure our car is pretty good from the get-go. That said, we have a plan of upgrades that we can do when the season, when you have the turn of the year, and it'll be fine. So we'll be competitive at the first round. So I'm going to head to practice for Singapore, get the drivers ready. I'll see you on track in qualifying. Closing seconds of qualifying one. Felipe Drugovich in the drop zone, not improving on this lap, which is really not ideal. I told the sponsors we'd have two cars 14th or higher in qualifying for the next 5 races, and I'm about to look very, very silly. If Drugovich doesn't pull something out here, I look really silly. Drugovich is out in Q1. Hülkenberg, 11th. We're not as quick as we have been in the last few races here in Singapore. Very different layout of circuit. We've got a car that's good in high speed, and there's no high speed in Singapore. So I'll try and get to Q3 with Hulk, and yeah, just give it our best shot really. We're in the drop zone once again, this time in Q2 with Nico Hülkenberg. Yuki Tsunoda is about 2/10 faster than us, although Ricciardo's now made that gap. Well, it's almost 2/10 of a second, isn't it, to Ricciardo. So a personal best first sector for Hülkenberg. I think we had a bit of traffic on our first run, which was on used tyres, but we still need to pull out a lap because we're now 13th. George Russell in 9th is in a bit of bother. If we can pull out a lap, and maybe even Norris or Albon. What's Hülkenberg doing in the middle sector? Personal best. Good stuff. Are we going to make it into Q3? Final few corners. Don't crash like Stroll did. Go into the top 10. 6th. Fabulous. Lovely, lovely stuff from Nico Hülkenberg, showing what this car is capable of. My immediate thought after Q1 was, you know, if Felipe can't get out of Q1 and he's struggling in qualifying, maybe we need to pick up a better driver. Maybe Pierre Gasly's the man. Let's see what we can do in Q3. Starting our final lap of qualifying then, we are in the wheel tracks of Charles Leclerc's Ferrari. So he will probably pull away from us. He's currently top of the pile. We are ahead of Gasly, importantly, and ahead of Russell, and just behind Hamilton. No improvement in the first sector here for Hulkenberg, probably being disturbed by the dirty air of the Ferrari, which is going to be slowing us down. So I realise now that we've not sent Hulkenberg out in a particularly good space. Let's see if the middle sector is any good. It's not. This is going to be a complete waste of a lap. That's an Alpine getting out of the way. Not sure which one it was. They're both behind us on the grid as it stands. We're not going to be any better than 7th, are we? No. What a waste of time. Gasly isn't improving either. I think, is he on an in lap? He's gone in the pit lane. Well, P7 I suppose is fine, but if we put a lap together in the last stages there, it could have been so much more. Bright side though, Leclerc, Verstappen and Alonso all have grid penalties, so we will gain 3 positions. We'll start the Singapore Grand Prix 4th. So maybe we can score a podium today. Straightforward 2-stop strategy, soft, medium, soft with both drivers today. Even Drugovich has gained positions from the grid drops. I've massively underfueled Drugovich because there's a huge propensity for safety cars and red flags around Singapore. Hulkenberg is also slightly underfueled, but to a fairly normal amount. So let the chaos begin and let's do a motor race. Ferrari versus Red Bull at the front, and you can just see Hulkenberg in P4 behind. Can he make a Kimi Raikkonen-esque start and actually take the lead at the start of the Singapore Grand Prix? It's a decent getaway actually. He's moving to challenge Lewis Hamilton, but there's no way through. It's Carlos Sainz who leads the way. Hamilton looking for a way past Sergio Perez. Drugovich is scrapping with one of the Sauber cars and staying ahead. He's chasing Alonso and Verstappen. Where's Leclerc? P8. So he'll be charging through. Hulkenberg will be looking to make a move on Lewis Hamilton and help us close that gap to Mercedes. Here's Hulkenberg going into P3. We've been deploying on this lap. DRS is now active, so we've been closing up. We are out of battery, but are we going through? We are going through into 3rd place, and we've got DRS, so we will make it stick. Amazing from Hulkenberg. We'll just do a quick harvest of energy, see if we can sprint away. But that was excellent. Let's have another look at this. The angles of the cameras weren't great. It's probably just going to show us the same ones. No, that's pretty nice actually. I like that. Good camera work. Lovely, beautiful overtake. P3, come on. Lap 8, let's check in with Felipe Drugovich. He's scrapping it away with Daniel Ricciardo. He's already overtaken the other AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda, and we're going to see him move ahead of Ricciardo here too. Lovely work from the Brazilian driver. That's more like it. That's going to help him keep his seat. Good overtake and up into P12. We've got a yellow flag, and it is Nico Hulkenberg off the track over the Anderson Bridge into the hairpin, and then he's just parked by the look of it.
It's all right, mate. The name of this road. You can't park there, sir.
So bad news is we've lost positions, 4 of them. Good news is that Hulkenberg is coming in this lap. That was a really badly timed error. These errors are starting to creep up for Hulkenberg. He is scoring a lot of the points, but we could definitely be scoring more with fewer of those mistakes. And now we have a safety car. We've just come out of the pit lane. This is, I think, the start of our first full lap out of the pits. And we have a safety car. Zhou has crashed at the final corner. He's going to do his best Lance Stroll impression. There we go. Off into the barriers. Back across onto the track. We are back into the top 10. Nico Hulkenberg blasting down the outside of Ocon, and he'll make the move stick in similar fashion to the Hamilton move earlier through the final corners. Excellent stuff. We're back into the top 10. Let's see how everything is up ahead of us. So Hamilton and Russell are 5th and 6th. Verstappen is coming through the pack as well. What tyres is everybody on? There's some people on hards, some people on mediums, and there's Ricciardo and Sainz on softs. So, yeah, it's all to play for in this race, and don't count out another safety car or even a red flag. We are into P9. It's not showing me a replay, frustratingly, so I can't show you what happened, but I think it happened through the old Singapore sling, the old chicane. But we are now ahead of Gasly. We need to deploy the battery. We can actually push with the engine because we've got enough fuel. We'll make it to the end. So we need to escape Gasly's Alpine, see if we can hunt down Stroll, although he's still much quicker than us. 4/10, even though, well, we were making an overtake last time round, so we could be close enough on pace this time if we are turning everything up. So we've left Gasly out of a second now, which is good news, and we will just build our race from here. Drugovich still in 13th in this little DRS train, although Ricciardo's dropping back and Drugovich is looking for an overtake. So he's got the bit between his teeth. He wants to keep this seat and he's doing everything he can to get into the points, and he's going to go past Ricciardo for the second time in this race. Good stuff, Felipe. Back into 12th position. Sadly, we haven't been able to catch Lance Stroll, and we've actually fallen back into the clutches of the Alpine duo, and we've now lost P9 to Pierre Gasly at the place where Hulkenberg kind of ruined his race earlier on. Ultimately, with the timing of the safety car, I don't think we'd have been any much better off, really, because there'd have been drivers who got a free pit stop, so we'd have probably restarted 7th or 8th, and we'd have dropped back anyway. So not ideal, any of the timing of the mistake or the safety car, but that's racing, and we just need to make sure we finish ahead of these Alpines. We're probably going to lose a big load of points to Mercedes today. So it's just score as many as we can, reduce the damage as much as possible, and come back to fight another day. There's a virtual safety car, and we are literally about to come into the pit lane. Esteban Ocon's already pitted. He had got ahead of us on track, but we, thanks to Logan Sargent's crash, which I'm going to show you, are going to get a cheaper pit stop. He's going to be going straight on at the hairpin, isn't he? And wallop into the barrier. Just waiting for Latifi to reverse along here, aren't you? Just what you need to see. Sargent crashing, Latifi backing it out of a wall too. Drugovich also in, so hopefully we get a couple of slick pit stops onto soft tyres, and Ocon will be in the mud. So nothing has happened too eventfully at the restart after the VSC, but Gasly has stayed out and is now 3rd. He's under pressure from the Ferraris, but he will definitely be stopping under green flags unless there's another safety car or something. So we might be able to pinch the position back from Gasly because he's on hard tyres that are aging and we are on softs. I think Gasly will go to softs and then be really fast, but it's a question of how much ground he loses. We've scored points at every race this season, even at Hungary where we were pretty terrible, to be honest, all things considered. Today might be our worst day of the year, but let's keep fighting to make sure that we keep the point scoring run going. Well, we're trying to overtake one Alpine, but it's the other one that's overtaken us. Here comes Esteban Ocon up the inside of Hulkenberg with DRS, and those hard tyres somehow are better than the softs. Make that make sense, but it looks like Gasly might even be staying out to the end. He has got 48% left of his tyres and is a long way up the road from us. So we might not be scoring any points, and we might lose a lot of points to our two closest rivals. This could be a really bad day at the office for us. We are in the points. We've just overtaken Yuki Tsunoda, who I think is doing that one-stop strategy the same as Gasly. He's on hard tyres, old hards, and Hulkenberg sweeps around the outside at turn 7 to take the position. Gasly is still the best part of 11 seconds up the road. We are 2.5 seconds a lap faster. Tsunoda's doing a great job of holding up Ocon, so that frees us up a bit. Tsunoda's gone into the pit lane with 7 laps to go. Is Gasly going to do something equally as stupid? There's Perez, who is also hanging out on tyres that are falling off a cliff. We might gain a couple of positions here through AI stupidity at the end, because they've done dumb strategies and going to hand us a couple of positions. 3 laps to go. We are closing in slowly on Gasly and Russell, who Gasly's picked up his pace because he's got Russell right up his gearbox. We're going to harvest some energy and deploy it, see if we can close the gap. What's Russell up to? He's actually passing Gasly now. So the Alpine is the car directly ahead of us on track. So if we can score twice as many points as Alpine, that is a miraculous save for this afternoon, evening, night, whatever you want to call it in Singapore. Drugovich P12, solid enough race, no errors from him, neat and tidy. So he'll finish essentially where he's supposed to finish for the performance of the car. Hulkenberg, though, could have been maybe fighting out with Perez here, who's on dead tyres. And Gasly's about to be in a similar position. I think we will get Gasly because what was the lap time last time? 34.7 versus a 32.5. He has got no chance against us here. Perez, we might even get Perez. He is so slow at the moment, is Perez. 35.9s. Wow. The AI is dumb. We are still 2 laps from the end. So we've got this lap, which is lap 61, and then we've got lap 62 as well. So let's make sure we juice up the battery. And then we will deploy it here. Gasly's got... now, Perez is going so slowly. He's given Gasly DRS. That's annoying. That's really annoying. We need to get past both of these buffoons as Verstappen starts the final lap. Hulkenberg going for it. Go on. Yes, that's it. That's exactly what we want to see. But Perez is right in our way. This could end all upside down in tears. Okay, who's going to get DRS and get the run? We've got no more battery, so let's harvest. We are into P9 and straight into P8. Amazing. Perfect. Although, yeah. Are we? We're not quite into P8 yet. We'll do it on the brakes into the chicane. Beautiful. Beautiful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Alright, P8. That is something of a save, isn't it? Our points run continues. We've averted the crisis, but we could have had so much more. I mean, we could have had P7 if Hulkenberg hadn't made that mistake. Drugovich just needs to conserve a little bit of fuel to get to the end. Hulkenberg takes a fabulous P8. Here comes Felipe. Ocon almost snatched a point off of Perez. That's how slowly Perez was going. What was his last lap time? A 36.7. His teammate did a 32.2 on the final lap. That is absolutely ridiculous. As a result then, we drop 4 places, mostly because of the mistake that Hulkenberg made during that race. But, you know, we've still grabbed 4 points, which is twice as many as Alpine, although we lose a massive chunk to Mercedes. 12 points they've gained on us. They're not going to come back to us easily. That might be the first nail in the coffin of our hopes for P4. However, this is Formula One. Anything can happen, and it usually does. So, let's keep fighting and see if we can chip away at that lead of Mercedes to take P4. Hulkenberg somehow is still ahead of Stroll. Probably on countback because Nico's got a P2 and I think Lance only has a P3. Yeah, they got the podiums in the same race. So they're level on points, but Hulk has the place on countback. Leclerc just easing into a very nice advantage at the top of the championship. And Verstappen's actually closer to Sainz than he is to Leclerc. So a very interesting title battle, which has taken a big twist. Max Verstappen winning the Singapore Grand Prix from 11th or 12th. So, yeah, actually, fair dues. So we scraped some points, and that's good news, but we did lose out to Mercedes. Let's hope we can strike back in Japan. Make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on the video for me. Subscribe for more F1 Manager content, and I'll see you at Suzuka. You're the best fans. It's bye for now.